Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maryann and I'm a homeschool mom of 2 kids. Today I am literally taking a break during our homeschool morning. The kids are outside playing. I've got their work right in front of me. I am literally just taking a break to talk to you for a few minutes about grading in homeschool and how we handle dishing out grades and deciding on, percentages, pass, fails, and all those things when it comes to our homeschool. Now, here's my little caveat. This is what we do, and this might not work for you, but it does work for us. And really, unless there's a lot of legal requirements from your province or state in regards to how you grade your kids, it's really up to the discretion of you as the parent. So do what works for you, but this is how we handle it. And I also have a plan for how I'm going to be handling it in the future when my kids are a lot older. So right now, my son is 6, he's in grade 1. My daughter is 11 and she is in grade 5. So here's how I grade them. I don't. I don't grade them. I pass them in the sense that they go from grade level to grade level, but that isn't necessarily done on a school year schedule. So let me explain that. I don't worry about report cards. All right, guys, it's the editing me here, and I just wanted to add something that I forgot to say in the video. When I said I don't worry about report cards, that is true. What I do make sure that I get done is filling out the yearly reports required by our provincial government. So every year, they just require us to fill out some paperwork to register our children for homeschooling that year, and then also to give sort of a summary of what we've covered during that school year. So that is required at the end of each year. They don't need grades, they don't need details, they just want to have a general idea of what we've done. So I do that. That is, I can guarantee there would have been some people in the comments saying, well, you have to be accountable. Well, we are accountable to our government and what they require of us, but it's very, very minimal. But we don't do report cards like you would get in a public school setting because it's just not necessary. So I just wanted to add that in here. So back to the video. I don't worry about grades, meaning, if they're getting A's or B's or C's or 80s or 90s or 100s or however you want to do it. I don't do any of that. The only time that comes into play is on my daughter's math because she does online math and it automatically gives her a percentage for each math lesson that she does. And then there's quizzes in there. So that does that for her. And that's fun. Like she enjoys seeing that mark. But what really matters is that she's mastering the concepts. It doesn't matter if it's giving her an A or a B or a C. What matters is that she's mastering the concepts. And if she's not mastering it, then we have her pause her lessons and we work on it until she's mastered it. So math is the only one where anything gets graded, but that's not done by me. When it comes to everything else that we do, much like mastering the math concepts, we just learn something until it's mastered, and then we move on to the next thing. And sometimes that even means moving on to the next grade level right in the middle of a school year. So, for example, right now, my son, who's in grade 1, he has been working on level K, which is technically kindergarten, language arts, because I wanted him to get a really strong foundation of phonics and phonemic awareness and being able to recognize different letter combinations. I wanted him to have a really strong foundation of that. And we have done about half of his book, and he is ready for the next level. So next year when he goes into grade 2, I plan on starting him in level 1 language arts for probably the first month or so, just to review, because for him, he's a really strong reader. He understands the idea of reading. And then once he has a good understanding of that, I'll be moving him into the grade 2 language arts. Now, that being said, his math, he is already ready for grade 2 math. So he's in grade 1, but he's ready to do grade 2 math. And often he is doing grade 2 math. So he has surpassed what he needs for grade 1 math and has moved right into some grade 2 math concepts but he's still in grade 1. So for us, grading isn't about waiting until the end of the school year, prolonging that level of work just because that's the school year that you're in, and then finding out if you have an A or a B or whatever. It's about mastering the concepts and then moving on. Now, because both my kids are in elementary school, I don't give them any percentages or anything like that for any of their work, because it really doesn't matter in elementary school. I mean, if you think about your elementary school years, it really didn't matter that much what you got on, an assignment or a test, because you still got pushed through to the next grade. I mean, schools don't ever really hold people back anymore, so it really doesn't matter. Even if you're failing things, you tend to still get pushed through to the next grade level. Well, in homeschool, if you were failing at something, meaning that if you aren't understanding, and I hate the term failing something, I think that it's actually sad. I think a lot of kids that are failing subjects in school, they just need help. They just need more help on that thing. Maybe they're not learning it in a way that suits their learning style, but that's another topic. In homeschool, if one of my kids isn't understanding something, they don't fail at it. We don't just look at it and say, oh, well, you've failed at that, but now you have to move on to the next thing. No, we stay there and we master it, and then we move on. So grades and marks don't mean anything right now in our homeschool. What matters is that they're understanding the concepts before we move on to the next thing. Now, that being said, I know my kids are in elementary school. As kids grow up and get older and into the high school years, I am aware that when it comes to high school transcripts and college applications and things like that, they do look at grades. It is true that universities will require different things sometimes from homeschoolers, because they know that homeschool works differently than public or private school. So therefore, they don't always look for the same type of transcript. How do I know this? I know this from research and from talking to other moms who have graduated their kids from high school in homeschool, and from watching other moms online and listening to their stories and how they did it. So it's true. I'm not at that stage yet. I can't speak from experience, but I have done a lot of research into this. And so when my kids reach that point, I am going to make sure that we keep records of everything they do. I will start assigning them grades based on mastery. So not based on just me being their mother and wanting them to have good grades, because that won't serve them well in their life. They need to master the concept, and then they will receive probably an A or an A+. If they master it, they get an A. That makes sense. But I'm also going to have them participate in like online courses and things like that, where they would receive grades from those places, whether it be, college courses that they can take online, or any sort of like an outschool.com type of course, or anything where they can get grades that can be provided on a transcript that don't come from me, just to make the grades I give them look more credible. So for example, if they're taking online college courses in high school and they're getting A's in that, then chances are they actually really are also getting A's from the work they're doing in their homeschool. And so on a transcript, on a piece of paper, it would look more reliable. So that's how I plan on handling it at that point. But my main goal is not seeing a bunch of A's on a piece of paper. It's knowing that they actually understand the concepts. Because you can cram for a test. I remember when I was in school, I would cram, I would study for a test. I would get, an A or 90 or whatever country you're in, you might do it with percentages or letters. I would get an A. And then the next week I would forget everything on that test. I didn't really master the concept. I just memorized it enough to be able to pass the test. And that is not what I want for my kids. With homeschool, I don't want them to just cram it all in, pass the test, and then forget everything the next week. I want them to understand it, remember it, and then be able to apply it to their life. That's not going to apply to every single thing, I'm well aware, but mastery and true understanding of the material That's way more important than just getting a 90% or a 95% on a test. Another thing that I'll mention is the reason why we don't worry about report cards with homeschool is because if you think about it, a report card is a way for a teacher to tell the parents how the kids are doing at school. Well, I already know. I know how my kids are doing at school because I'm their teacher and I'm with them every single day, seeing what they're doing and walking them through it step by step. There's no need for a report card when you're in these younger grades, even through like junior high, middle school. It's not necessary. I don't need that because I know exactly what's going on with their schoolwork. In the high school levels, report cards still aren't necessary. It's all about building up your transcript. If college and university is what my kids pursue, we will make sure they have everything that they need for their college applications and, whatnot. But in these younger grade levels, I don't need to do report cards. I don't need to worry about that. And it's not, I don't even need to worry about, will they make it into grade 6 or will they make it into grade 2 or grade 3? Of course they will. They might even do it in the middle of a school year because it's not based on 10 months of school out of the year. It's based on mastering concepts and moving on when you're ready. If you're not ready, you stay put a little longer. That's all it is. And so it really requires very little stress when it comes to grading. I know a lot of people ask me, well, how do you decide if your kids pass or fail? It's not about that. It's just about making sure that they understand the material and moving them forward once they're ready. So if you are homeschooling and you're worried that you're not going to be able to, help your children produce these wonderful grades, don't worry about grades. It just isn't important. If it's something that makes you feel better as a mom, or maybe it makes your kids feel better to see it, give them a report card. Write up a little something and present it to them at the end of the year. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to do that, and we certainly don't. At the end of each school year, we choose what our last day is going to be. We celebrate usually by doing something fun, and that's it. It is a really, really uncomplicated thing, this whole homeschooling lifestyle. So don't overthink it and just do what's right for you and your family. Anyway, if this video has been helpful, click subscribe and stick around. My channel is all about homeschooling, homemaking, homesteading type of content. Simply Home and Family, meaning we're all about home and family and anything related to that. So hit subscribe, click the like, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.